We all experience challenging and difficult situations in life. In the face of these complexities, it is not always clear how to respond, what to do, or what to avoid. It's easy to get stuck in these moments and stop moving forward in life. Wholeness with Naomi is a program that explores our experiences with such encounters and provides tools and strategies that can enable anyone facing these hardships to continue walking their path in life. We can't wait to meet you on this journey. Tune in, your life is about to change for the better.
Welcome to our program, Wholeness with Naomi, where we talk about difficult and sometimes different situations that may come our way. More importantly, we talk about the tools that you can use as you navigate in these difficult and different paths. We talk about faith in different places, but sometimes what does it look like when you're in a space where you're actually not well? Today on the program, we're going to be talking about faith, what it looks like, what it is, especially when faced with sickness. How are you able to maintain and sustain it and keep walking in it, where you may come to a place of healing and sometimes not even receiving it? What does it look like? Joining us on the program today is Miss Yolanda.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Do share about yourself, Miss Yolanda.
In 2023, I started getting sick.
Okay.
I suffered from chronic fatigue, and also I had several severe stomach pain, and my stomach started growing. My stomach started growing like I used to look like someone was pregnant, and because of the persistent fatigue, I had to seek medical help. So when I sought for help, I went to see the doctor. They had to take me through several tests, and the first one was to find out what was causing the fatigue, and I got a scan, and it then showed that I had fibroids. My uterus was now infested with fibroids, and that having several fibroids, it also caused iron deficiency, which was then causing me to feel so much tired. Even after doing a simple task, I would see myself feeling so exhausted. I was also struggling to concentrate. Yes.
How did this make you feel hearing this?
I was disturbed. I didn't know what to I didn't know what to think, and also like when they found out that my uterus was infested with fibroids, they were now saying that they had to remove the uterus completely, which was very difficult for me to accept, since I'm not yet married, had not have a baby, and I didn't want to. It was very difficult for me to accept it at that moment.
So them removing the uterus, what did that mean for you? Or what were they going to do? How would that affect, how would that impact you?
Okay, it actually showed that I wasn't going to have children, though I was going to get my health back, but it then meant that I wasn't going to have children, which was very difficult to accept. So I had to seek another opinion.
Okay.
And because I wanted to have children, I also wanted just to have a normal life, to have my uterus as a woman that kind of not really define a woman, but it's something that you'll be proud of, just having your uterus. So when I was told that the only option that was there with is to remove the uterus, I didn't receive it so well.
Okay.
I was devastated. I remember I saw my mother. She was devastated as well, and she was crying. Being the first daughter, she was expecting to see her grandchildren, and for her to accept it, and also for me to accept it that I was just going to get my uterus removed, was a very difficult thing for me. And I had to, and then we had to look for another opinion. We went to see this gynecologist, who then told us that it was very possible to remove the fibroids, even though they had now grown so big. It was very possible to remove the fibroids and then preserve the uterus. And then we were so happy, you know, from being so devastated, and now that you've heard that your uterus can be preserved, we're so excited. And then we took that route. We went to see him, and then we made some payments. It also took a bit of some time because he wanted cash up front, and we had to look for the money. So we looked for the money as a family. We had some contributions coming in from all family members. And when the money was now enough for me to go through the procedure, we then paid the doctor, and then I went for the surgery. When I went for the surgery, I went into the surgery walking on my own, happy that now they're going to remove the fibroids, and then I'll remain with my uterus. So I went into the surgery, hoping that after the surgery, my life would transform, and I would really enjoy my health. Little did I know that it was actually the beginning of a journey, a difficult one.
Let's take a short break to join us in the next segment. Thank you. Welcome back to our program, Wholeness with Naomi. Before we went on a short break, Miss Yolanda was sharing with us the journey that she walked from a place where she was normal, everything was okay, and coming to a place where she found herself unwell, her stomach was swelling, and she had to seek for medical intervention to understand what is it that is happening in my body. And when she went there, she was met with shocking news that she had fibroids, and not only that, but initially that her uterus needed to be removed. But they did manage to find another solution that was able to preserve your uterus. Please take us through what happened when you went into surgery.
Okay, so when I went into the surgery, they did remove the fibroids, and the biggest one was about 15 centimeters.
That's big.
That was too big. And they removed it, and the other ones were a bit small. And the other one was 6 centimeters, and the other ones were small. They removed it, and then I got out of the surgery. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days, and then after 3 days, they told me to go home. They said I was now fit to go home. So after eating, I swallowed. I was so happy. I told my mother to prepare sadza with okra.
You had missed it.
I had missed it. And then when I ate, I vomited, and I could not stand. I was struggling to even breathe. I thought I was dying. And then my mother had to call my brother to come and pick me up and to go back to see the doctor.
Okay.
And when we got there, the doctor said that my digestive system was still healing.
So, Miss Yolanda, help me understand. When you went to the doctor, he said you're okay, but your body needed more time to be able to heal.
Yes.
And the doctor prescribed more antibiotics.
It's true.
And discharged you to go back home.
Yes.
Were you well?
I was not well. I could feel it, but the fact that the doctor had told me to go back home, I thought I was still healing. It was a process. Then I would be so well when I get home. So when I got home, when I ate, I started vomiting.
The second time again?
The second time again. I started vomiting. I was sweating. I could not stand. Then my brother came back, and he came to take me. He took me, then we went back to see the doctor.
The same doctor?
The same doctor. And he said that it was the healing process. I wasn't supposed to take solid food, and then he said I should just take tea and maybe bread, the light meals. And we thought we were doing it wrong when I ate sadza. And then he actually asked one of the nurses to bring tea. And then when I took the tea, I then started vomiting again. So they had to keep me at that hospital.
So in that moment, before you continue, that is when you realized that, you actually were not okay.
Yes.
And it's something that you was constantly dismissing.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. And now we were all confused. I was asking also myself that what was going on. I thought I was losing my body. I thought I was losing my life. It was scary.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really scary. And we had to go and seek for help. We went to see a GP in Chatcom, who also put me on antibiotics and for some treatment for some time. It then helped me to eat without really feeling pain. But now I was deteriorating. I started losing weight. In a week, I would lose about 2 kgs, which was very abnormal.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
a lot.
That was a lot, and it was very abnormal. And also, my skin started looking pale, and I started losing also a blood. I was struggling now because of not eating properly. I started having challenges with sleeping, which was coming from dehydration because I could not drink water that was enough to carry me throughout the day.
So you are now at a place where you were still experiencing so much pain.
Yes.
You were finding it hard to go by each day. Even sleeping at night was becoming difficult.
Yes.
How did you eventually manage to find out what was wrong?
When I was struggling to sleep now, anxiety kicked in, and we had to go and see another doctor for him to then assess what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who said that my body was really deteriorating, and he then advised us to go and see a general surgeon and a physician. So when we went to see the general surgeon, we explained to him what had happened, and then he had to run through several tests just to see what was happening in my stomach. At first, he thought they were just adhesions. Those ones, he said that they happen when you go through an abdominal surgery.
Mm-hmm.
You can suffer adhesions which can be rectified. And then he said that before making the conclusion, he had to do some tests,
Okay.
just to confirm if what he was seeing was correct. We did the scans, we did the blood tests, we did everything. And then he said the only way to fix the intestines was to do another open surgery. So we also had to now, I'm coming from a first surgery. Remember, we have used money. Money had depleted.
The whole family initially said it come together to ensure that the money was available.
Exactly. For the first one to go through that surgery, we had to raise money, about $2,000 cash, which for my family was a bit too much. We were now asked to raise about $5,000 for the second surgery. So
how did that make you feel? Coming to a place where you were told that, we just need to do the surgery and you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You now found that you were sick and you went through all the different motions where you're really finding it hard to go through each day.
Mm-hmm.
You went to another doctor and he said you required double the amount that was needed in the first place. Not only that, you needed to redo the surgery again. How did that make you feel?
I felt like my world is just collapsed. I thought I was just going to die, also knowing my family that would not even afford half of that amount at that moment. And the doctor said that it had to be an emergent operation because of what was happening in my stomach. So we sat down as a family, we talked about it, and we didn't have anywhere to even borrow the money for the surgery. So surprisingly, I got a call from my friend who just wanted to hear what decision we had made. And then I told her that we didn't have the money as a family, and there was no way I could get $5,000 in about 2 weeks. And she was like, "Is it okay, Yolanda, for me to help you look for the money?" I laughed because I thought that was just impossible to look for $5,000 cash. I was not on medical aid. You know, sometimes when you think you not get sick and then you don't get a medical aid. And she said, I will help you look for the money because I want you to be well. I laughed, but then I told her, it's okay, you can go ahead. I wasn't expecting to get the money. And when she went, she talked about it with my other friends, and they had to set up a GoFund me, and they started raising the money. When they started that group, it was amazing. The contributions, how they got the contributions. People started pledging money.
Were these people that you knew or strangers?
These were the people that I knew, and some of them that said I had impacted their lives in an amazing way. The things, you know, the things that we do, just being nice to someone, and you don't even know that tomorrow it will really help you when you need some help.
This is quite powerful, Miss Yolanda. Viewers, let's take a short break. Do join me in the next segment. Welcome back, viewers, to our program, Wholeness with Naomi. Before I went on a short break, Miss Yolanda, you were sharing with us that people had come to do a GoFund for you. Yes. And some of the people were strangers, and some were people that you had impacted without knowing, as we were going about your life. This is just one part of the equation.
Yes.
There's the other way you mentioned initially that you were finding yourself anxious. And this wasn't just you. Yes. There's also your family. What sort of challenges did you face as a result of finding yourself in this space where there were now complications of this surgery?
Yes, so emotionally now I was drained, and I started getting even more anxious to the extent that I could not sleep. I would go for 2 days without sleeping. You know, the anticipation of death, it's actually worse than death itself. I thought I was just going to die. I remember one day I had to call my sister, and I told her that I was dying. I was struggling to breathe, and I told her everything. And even the dreams I would have, they were, because I was constantly thinking that I was going to die. So I think it also affected my dreams. I would see myself dying. So now I was getting panic attacks. I didn't know what panic attacks were. I was acting like someone who's wanted. And for my family to understand that, it was very difficult.
So from your sharing, Miss Yolanda, you know, one thing that's really coming out was how difficult that journey was for you. From panic attacks, anxiety, things that you were not familiar with yourself, even having the vocabulary to be able to describe it.
Yes.
And you were finding yourself in a space where even your family members were questioning what's happening because they couldn't understand. What role did faith play in all this?
People from church were coming to see me, and also I was praying about it. There was a scripture that God gave me. God gave me Ezekiel 37 that talks about the dry bones coming to life. And I was now in a moment where I thought, like I said, I thought I was just losing my life. Before the surgery, I was about 60 kgs. So now I was 47 kgs. So you can imagine the drop. And so when people were coming to see me, would then pray, and God gave me that scripture, that surely the dry bones will come to life. And the other scripture that also sustained me and my family was Psalm 23, that we all know that David says that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. There's a part, I think it's verse 4, that says that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for you are with me. You know, I like how we want to read the scripture and get excited about it. But when you are faced with a situation, walking through the valley of the shadow of death, it's not easy. I remember there was a person who came to see me, and just by looking at me, he then started saying that, you know what happens in life? God picks the beautiful flower. If you are to go into a garden, you pick the beautiful rose. That could be, that might be what might be wanting to happen now. God might just pick you. And from that day, I was so scared. I was so scared because not that we want to live forever, but I just somehow thought that was not yet the right time for me to go home. After the person left, I remember making a prayer to God, and I said that, God, when you restore me to life, I remember saying to God that when you restore me life, I will work for you, and also help those who might be going through the same sickness I went through.
Were you able to pray in that season?
At first, I was able to pray, but there was now a moment where I was struggling because my body was now so much weak. I was so weak that I could not even pray. I could not open my mouth to speak. I remember at some point when we were young, when we were told that the person who is sick is no longer talking. That's the stage where I was at that moment. I could not open my mouth to speak because physically I was not strong anymore. So that's where my friends come in. People started forming groups to pray for me. They would do chain prayers, and they would fast. So we paid the money, and I was booked for another surgery. I went in. Like I said at first, that he thought they were just adhesions. So when he opened, that's when he got the shock of his life. Some of the intestines had ruptured, and then there was other one that was now rotten, and some were blocked, and that's why food could not pass through. Like what he said, that the passage was like 2 centimeters, so it was very difficult for solid food to pass through. He had to ask my brother, that was after the surgery, he had to ask how I got to the hospital, how I was surviving, because it was too chaotic in the stomach. When he was telling me after the surgery that the surgery, which was supposed to take 2 hours, took about 5 hours, so he had to go through each and every part just to see if everything was okay. My advice to the viewers is no situation is permanent. if you're not feeling well, it doesn't mean that you stay there forever. Go and see the doctors. That's another route that God uses to bring healing. Go and get advice, medical advice. Follow what the doctors tell you. And also believe. Continue to tell yourself that you'll be okay. One of the things that I've seen when you're not feeling well, when you lose hope, even your body will respond. Your body will not respond to medication if you lose hope. So keep on hoping and believe that you come out of that situation. It's not a permanent situation. Look, now I'm here. You'd not believe that at some point I was 47 kgs. And the other thing that I also want to say to the viewers is there are conditions that we can only get to understand when the medical doctors explain those things to us.
Thank you, Miss Yolanda, for your sharing. I think it's also important to note, viewers, that one of our values as Zimbabweans is Ubuntu, Unu, Tirivanu. And the phrase that we use commonly is Mabasa ako anokutira. From the sharing of Miss Yolanda, one thing that's really standing out, she's talking about people that she helped when she was just going about her life, and these are the people that were able to come through and be able to provide the financial support that was needed for her to be able to undergo this operation. Assess yourself. How are you managing the relationships that are around you? In times where adversity strikes, are those people able to stand and support you?